Friends, we just got done shooting the tech review of this, the 2017 BMW i3 with a larger 33 kilowatt battery. Now before we shut everything down here and as we watch the sunset through the clouds there, I wanted to answer a question for an Ask MotoMan segment. Over the years, I get a lot of questions from a lot of different people. How do you go about buying a used electric car? Now this isn't an answer to one specific people, but a lot of people over the years. Now recently I had the opportunity to help a very, very good friend of mine buy a used electric car. My friend Marcos just got a very cool new job, and so he was looking to upgrade his car, but he is like me, he is a Dave Ramsey fan, he has saved money, so he wanted to buy a car in cash, but still wanted an EV. And to give you an idea of how big of a jump, he came from a 2000, I think a 4 or 2005 Pontiac Grand Prix, and we got him a 2013 Nissan Leaf. That's how big of a jump. Anyway, how do we go about it? Now, there really isn't a huge difference in going about buying a used electric car as opposed to buying a regular used car. You're still going to do a lot of research, figure out what car you want. Just go and drive the different cars before you make a decision of what you're going to buy, so you see what you like and what you don't like. It's kind of like going out and dating. You know, dated a lot of different people to see what you like and what you want to put up with. So he did that, and he whittled it down to a Volt or a Leaf. Now in his case, it's very unusual. The two of them had really old cars. So they've been working very hard. They've saved a lot of money. So now they can afford two newer cars. So he's going to get one for his wife, and he got one for him. He decided to have the Volt for his wife and the Leaf for himself because he was doing more commuting and didn't want to beat up the Volt so much. So then we focused on, okay, what's my price range? And we were able to find a number of Leafs out there anywhere between $6,000 and $8,000 for a car that was a 2013 to say a 2014 with as low as 25,000 miles. So this is where we get into some unusual things when you get away from buying a regular used car as opposed to buying an EV used car. Now you're going to go through the same kind of research. Once you decide the car you want, I like buying cars from private parties because I want to know the person I bought it from, I want the service history, and I want to see what they did with it, see how they took care of it. Because usually someone's going to take the time to sell it private party, they probably took better care of the car. Not a hard and fast rule, but that's what I find especially with sports cars. Now in this case, that kind of held true with electric cars. I had Marcos come up with a list of 10 different cars that he wanted. He really didn't care about the color, but we had two things we had to focus on. We had to have low miles, so we were looking under 35,000 miles, and we were looking anywhere between $6,000 and $7,000 because there was so much choice out there, we could be somewhat picky. Well, there we found a couple of different cars, and so I had him call all of the different owners and do like you would with any used car. You just kind of interview them. What did they do with the car? Has it been in an accident? Is it a clean title? Why are you selling the car? All that kind of stuff. And you can generally ascertain what's going on there if someone's being honest with you. And most people, when you're dealing with a car like that especially, are probably going to be somewhat honest. Well, we whittled it down to 2 or 3 cars, and we found this stunning 2013 Nissan Leaf. It was the SL, not the SV. Most of them were SVs at the $6,000 to $7,000 price range. But this was the SL that not only had the technology package that had the navigation, but it also had the heated rear seat, and the guy had like the caddy in the back that you could put the plug in. So the thing was not only fully loaded, it had some good accessories on it. Now that's where we got into the point of, okay, now we found the car we like, we went and drove it. Now it's to the point of, okay, we want to get the car looked at, but before you're going to spend the money to go take it to a mechanic to have the car looked at, you want to agree on the price. And that's where I came in. Let's just say I was very hard on this guy. I wanted the car for $6,800, but Marcos really, really wanted the car, so I told him, you're allowed to go to $7,000. Well, the guy didn't want to go to $7,000. We went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Finally, we agreed, okay, $7,100 pending an inspection from a mechanic. Now, this is where you have a very different scenario than you would a regular used car. I've got a mechanic that I know, and I would take my car or whatever car I'm buying, hey, I want you to look at it, Bob. Well, this is an EV. It's a different story. You want to bring it to a specialist. In this case, I didn't know a specialist in the EV world, so what we did is we took it to a Nissan dealer. And we thought for certain that we would find something wrong with it, go back to the owner and say, hey, it needs this, this, and this. We'll give you $6,500 or we'll give you $6,800. The Nissan dealer couldn't find one thing wrong with it. And this guy had never taken that car there before, so it wasn't like some collusion between the dealer and the previous owner. Well, long and short of the story, we came to the decision that $7,100 was a ridiculously fair price for, what is it, a 3.5-year-old car now with only 33,000 miles and every possible option you could get that year. So now, my friend Marcos, he now has a great new career, a great new job, and because he is a Dave Ramsey disciple like me, he has a car he owns for cash, no payments on it, that he got an incredible deal on because he put the research in, because he spent some time looking at what he wants, but most importantly, he let somebody else pay the depreciation on his fancy new car. And frankly, that car, he could drive it for 5 years. If he loses $3,000 on it, I would be shocked. Frankly, I'm stunned that these Leafs are that affordable that quickly. And the only thing that I'm kind of thinking here is people are kind of afraid of a used battery. But again, we did some research here, and here's a car that's 3.5 years old. It still has 6.5 years more warranty on the battery. So with that, Brother Marcos, congratulations on the new car, even though your wife thinks it's very ugly. But more importantly, congratulations on the new job. I am super stoked for you. Now I want to turn this around to you guys. What tips, tricks, ideas on how to acquire a used vehicle do you have? Let's open this up to like an open forum between us car guys and gals on different best practices to save money in buying used cars. Let me know in the comments below or via social media. MotoManTV, all one word. MotoManTV, all one word. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And with that, I want to leave you with two things. Number one, make sure you download our fancy updated application and click subscribe and notifications on YouTube. And number two, I want to leave you with a fun fact. So he's also replacing his wife's car. What car is she driving? A 1998 Pontiac Grand Am. So what does Dave say? Drive like no one else today, so later you can drive like no one else. So I'll see you next time. Bis später.